I'm back for another concert review, and today I'm here to tell you about the latest that I've been to, and that was Katatonia, the Ocean Collective, and Cellar Darling. They played tonight in Toronto at the Opera House. It was a packed house, if I might say. A lot of people came out to see these three bands. I'm not surprised. It's not every day that you see three bands of this quality touring together, and the tour has just started. They played a few dates in the US. They came to Canada, they played a few dates here, they're going back to the US, and this is a tour that's going to run all the way until December. So I'm going to put the tour dates in the description of this video. You can check it out and see if there's something nearby so you can go and see them. I would not miss this tour. Once again, it's not every day that you see three bands of this quality touring together, so this is an opportunity that shouldn't be missed. Now, before I give you the breakdown of all three bands, of what my experience was like tonight, I want to give two shout-outs. First one to Daniel Johnson. He's the tour manager on this tour, a friend of mine, someone that I've known for a very, very, very long time. And he is one of those guys that it's all aces. This dude is a superstar. He's doing tour manager duties. He's doing sound duties. This guy does it all. He's been on tour with some incredible bands like Alien Weaponry, unto others, Gojira. Like, this guy's been around for a very long time. He knows what he's doing. If there's any band out there looking for a tour manager, a sound guy, hook up with him. This guy is not going to disappoint you, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that he's done for me, for everything that he's done for this channel, and how welcoming he was tonight at the show, bringing me in as a family member. I honestly, when I'm with him, I feel like I'm with a brother. He's a great guy, and I just want to say thank you for everything from the bottom of my heart. Really, thank you for your love and for your support to this channel and to me personally. The other shout out is to Slayer Burger. Now, they're not paying me for this, but I don't care. I went there for the first time. There's a Slayer Burger right next to the venue, and I had to check it out. What is this all about? Now, I enjoyed the food. The food was actually better than what I thought coming in. It was actually pretty juicy. The burgers were actually really good. It was not as gimmicky as I thought going in. I just feel like for a place that's called Slayer Burger, that has Jeff Hanneman on one wall, his guitar on the other, the menu choices should be Slayer song titles. If you have a little bit of a rare burger, you could call it Raining Blood. If you have a triple stack burger, you can call it Mandatory Suicide. If you have a kids menu, you can call it Expendable Youth. How cool would that be? I know it would fly over somebody's head, people who don't know Slayer, but who fucking cares? If for the metalheads going there to Slayer Burger, that would be the absolute best. So I feel like they went a little bit short on the gimmick, and I don't think there's anything, I don't think you can go half-seas on it, or there's no such thing as kind of pregnant. You have to go all the way. You call yourself Slayer Burger, you put Jeff Hanneman on the wall, you put the guitar, you go all the way. But outside of that, I really enjoy myself, and I just want to give them a shout out. If you guys are at the Opera House or nearby, go check them out. They're right next door. Impossible to miss. Now, on to the bands. The evening started off with Cellar Darling, and the only issue that I had with their performance is that they only played for 30 minutes. Now, not their fault. Obviously, that's the time that they have allotted to them, but I don't think you can listen to Cellar Darling for just 30 minutes. Now, it's better 30 than none, I'll give you that, but I think you want more, at least I do. I've seen them as a headlining band a very long time ago, before the pandemic, 2018, I believe, and I want to see them as the headliners again, because 30 minutes just leaves you wanting more. That's like ordering the appetizers and then walking away before you get the full course. It's just not enough. You want more. Their music allows you to lose track of time and allows you to get really connected with it, and 30 minutes doesn't take you far enough into the journey of what it is to listen to this band, their sound, and the overall atmosphere that they create. Anna Murphy sounded phenomenal from beginning to end. Her voice is as good as ever, and it reminded me of how good this band is, not just in studio but also as a live band performing in front of an audience like they did tonight. Packed house, like I said earlier. Now, there was only a couple of glitches with their sound. There was a couple of moments of feedback when Anna moved into the forefront, when she left her keyboard and she moved more into center stage, but very small glitches. Outside of that, their sound was phenomenal, and the same could be said about every single band. The Ocean Collective, Katatonia, the sound at the table was outstanding for every single band. And I'll go a step further. Not only the sound was outstanding, the lighting tonight was perfect. Different styles, different approaches for different bands. Not a one-size-fits-all, or not a very gimmicky or in a way creating a little bit of a format and then try to fit the bands into the format that exists. No, the lighting felt very connected with each and every single performance, and then the sound on every single performance tonight also elevated the overall quality of the show. Cellar Darling really set the bar high because they played outstanding tonight. 30 minutes, a little bit too short. I wanted at least 45 to an hour, but we have to wait for another headlining tour. Next comes the Ocean Collective. Now, the Ocean Collective took an interesting approach as far as their set in terms of the choice of songs, but also as far as how they built it. Now, I think it comes down to how you're coming into this concert and how much of a fan of the band you are. If you're a fan of the band and you know their material and you're familiar with all of their songs, this set works really well because they took different songs and they created a new album, a live album, if you will. An album that doesn't have breaks, that doesn't have pauses, that feels fluid and continuous from the first all the way to the last song. This is super entertaining, specifically if you know the elements of each track and you know the bookmarks on where the track ends and where the next one starts, because it almost feels seamless, like it's not there, but it is there, so you can understand exactly the dynamics and how you're traveling and how you're navigating through this set list and through this performance. If you're not a fan of the band, if you never heard the band before, if this is your first time experience their music, I think you're going to be a little bit lost, because not having any breaks, not having any communication with the fans, not allowing the songs to end and then start with a slight pause allows this whole set list to feel like one single track that has different momentums to it. It definitely makes things fluid, but if you don't know the band, you're going to be a little bit you're going to be scratching your head a little bit, wondering what is happening. Is this the first song? Is this the second song? Is this the third song? Are we still in the first song? Wow, this is a really long first song. So I think it works, but it works for a very selective audience, which is an audience that knows exactly what they're getting into. For those in the periphery, I think they will have a little bit of a harder time connecting to it. But if they look at the overall big picture, if they're not concentrated on how many songs are being played or what songs are being played, but rather take away the overall atmosphere and essence, including the lights and sound and everything that goes in it, I think you still walk away feeling like the night was great and that the band put on a great show. At least that's how I see it. But I can see some people feeling slightly disappointed in how things come across. So I'm just giving you both perspectives, and then obviously depends on which angle you're coming from to take your own point of view. One thing I'll say, their lead singer, wow, this dude knows how to rock a crowd. He came into the crowd, he crowd surfed, he stage dove into the crowd with the mic. And the mic had a cable attached to it, so it's not like it's a wireless mic. I thought somebody was going to get decapitated through it or with it, but incredible. Like, he really brought the crowd to life, and I think he did it at the right time. It was at a time within their performance that perhaps the energy in the room was starting to lag a little bit, and that was exactly what the crowd needed, what the band needed in order for the energy to be reignited and the fans to reconnect with their performance. Maybe going back to how the set list is put together, and an element like this really ignites the experience and brings that set list back to life. Now, as far as Katatonia is concerned, this was a deep set list. 18 songs, 19 songs, something around those numbers. I mean, that's a lot of tracks. They went on at 10 o'clock. They didn't finish until around 11:30, maybe a little bit after 11:30. It's not every day that you see a headlining show like this where the band plays an hour and a half. Most bands are playing an hour and 15 minutes. Katatonia hasn't played in North America in 5 years. They're making up for it right now. I can also tell you that the new single is part of the set list. They have a new album coming out in January. They signed to a new label, Napalm Records. So there's a lot to look forward as far as Katatonia is concerned. I think there's going to be a new North American tour later in 2023. It just makes sense. You're touring right now. You're still touring on the previous album because they didn't have a chance to do that due to the pandemic. You have a new album coming out in January. You have to hit the road again. So I wouldn't be surprised that if towards the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, almost 1 year after this tour, they're back again, but now playing songs from the new record and pushing that album more into the forefront as part of the promotion cycle that comes with it. But tonight was phenomenal. It was a great performance. Jonas hurt his back, and he mentioned that he hurt his back earlier in the day, so he wasn't very mobile. I don't think he needs to be very mobile, but I'm sure he wanted to be a lot more comfortable performing, and I felt like he was taking all the energy that the audience was giving him and maybe numbing some of that pain so that he could push through this very long evening of music. If I didn't know that his back was hurting, if I didn't know that he had an incident earlier in the day, I wouldn't be able to tell, because he didn't miss a beat. Vocally, he was flawless. The whole band on point. Once again, the lighting really enhancing the beauty of each and every single song, and the sound quality was outstanding, pristine. There was not one single glitch during the whole performance. Phenomenal. And I think for a band like Katatonia, perhaps more so than other bands, well, for all the bands on this lineup, actually, I should say, the sound quality live is extremely important. These guys are all about the details and the nuances of their music, and the atmosphere and the emotions that those details and nuances create. If you don't have a good sound guy, and if you don't have good sound quality, it's not going to come across in a live setting. So it came across, was a phenomenal evening. Everybody was excited. The crowd was enjoying every single second of it. And I honestly walked away feeling like I got to see Katatonia. I can check that off my bucket list. They were definitely a band on my bucket list. And they're a band that definitely translates everything that they do in the studio, everything that they do on record, onto that live performance. Some bands don't. Some bands you feel like something is missing. Some bands give you more live than they do in the studio. This is a band that knows both arenas, and they know exactly what to give you and how to make the performances be at the top, regardless of in which arena they're on. Tonight they were live and they were phenomenal. It was a beautiful evening, a beautiful performance. Once again, the dates are going to be in the description of this video. Don't miss this tour. It's one of the last tours of 2022. Don't miss it. All three bands are phenomenal. They all offer something different, but yet all of them have something in common. So it's a great tour, it's a great package. Don't miss it, and I'll see you guys at the next concert review.